Welcome back to the Barca Breakdown. My name is Adam. Please hit that subscribe button because I'm here with the Use.
What's up, guys?
And we're covering Xavi's first game as manager, Use. A 1-0 victory against Espanyol. That was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest, right? And, we just got to step back and just give Xavi time to work with the youngsters and get some players back from injury after, Fati, Dembele, Aguero, Brathwaite are out, with Aguero possibly retiring. And then, of course, Pedri facing the setback that's going to keep him out against Benfica.
Sure.
But let's get into the game against Espanyol because there's two main takeaways I have, right? One, in the first half, when the players are most fresh and when we have these young players kind of feeling more confident, seeing the Camp Nou behind them, seeing the overall just excitement about the fans in Xavi's first game, they played a much more freewheeling, pass-oriented game than we'd seen under Koeman, right? There was a lot more movement from the midfield. Frenkie de Jong, of course, made a few runs to the box, including the one where he had the header back to Depay, who had a good volley from outside the box to score. We just overall saw a little bit more fluidity between the midfield, between the front, and we saw players trying to make runs and then midfielders trying to connect balls to them. Busquets had a few really wonderful balls throughout the game that I thought showed that, we're trying to implement more of a forward-looking, run-oriented mindset than we had under Koeman. And then the second thing is, hey, Xavi is sticking to his word. He's doing a meritocracy that involves playing the youth when he can, right? We had Ilias up front as the right winger, who's a player I don't think we've seen yet this season. And, there were 4 or 5 under 23 players in the game, Mingueza, Nico, Gavi. And so overall, those are the two impressions I had, right? And so if you look at the lineup use and run us through it, we had predicted what, a 3-5-2? I believe is what we thought.
4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1 is what we predicted. And what did we see? And then once you go through the lineup, what were your takeaways from the game?
Sure. So lineup in the back was a 4-3-3 I should start with. Ter Stegen, Piqué, Garcia, Alba, and then Mingueza, and then in the midfield, Frenkie, Nico, and Busquets. And then in the front, we had Gavi on the left, surprising, and then in the middle, Depay, and on the right, the youngster, Ilias. So my takeaways here, for example, and, what I think was great to see was, I think you mentioned it previously, but we had that forward attacking, moving the ball forward. Passing was, we didn't hold on to the ball. We moved the ball forward, trying to create.
Yeah, there was a quickness of passing that we had not seen yet.
Trying to make space. We wanted to attempt to put the ball in the back of the net in a little better positions, but unfortunately it seemed like we were taking the shots at low percentage areas. Like Busquets had some outside the box, Depay, like the one you said from Frenkie. But the highlight, I think, was we were being more creative. And then you saw in that first half, we had a couple opportunities where we could have scored, but unfortunately the things just didn't come our way. And then we had that coming into that second half. We had the Depay penalty. He scores it. We're all excited. And then after that, we had a sub-in of Abdi on the right side for Ilias. And I thought he was very wonderful. A lot of fast movement, forward moving, trying to get inside the box and squeezing that corner in and trying to kick the ball in the middle.
We saw Puig come in. We saw Coutinho. We saw Araujo come in. Right. Two of the things that we're not too happy about is Nico picked up a knock, and Busquets also asked for a change because he had something bothering him, and I think in his calf. And so what's going to be unique about trying to evaluate this first few games under Xavi is, right, like we keep mentioning, we have a few forwards and wingers who are injured that we have to keep in mind, as well as Pedri. But it's a little bit hard, right, to evaluate, well, okay, do we take the positives and say that's because of Xavi and take the negatives and say it's because we don't have a good squad? Like, how do we really navigate what is Xavi's influence, what is the clear, limitations of our team, right? And it's hard because, we keep preaching that we need to have patience with Xavi. But there are things about this game that weren't exciting, right? If Koeman had been the coach for this game, we would have said, oh, man, Koeman really skated through with a 1-0 victory. Could have easily been a 2-1 loss if Espanyol had just been a tiny bit more accurate with 2 headers in the last 10 minutes of the game. So how are we going to try and keep our analysis in perspective and make sure that we're being fair to Xavi while at the same time pointing out, things that didn't go well for the team.
Well, the overall trend is what's important, right? We need incremental increases in our proficiency, in our passing, in our scoring capabilities, right? Like I just mentioned previously, we're taking low percentage shots. We need to increase our attack in the box and create a one-on-one with the goalie. For example, when Gavi had that over-the-top pass, unfortunately, Frenkie was offsides, but he still took that to the box, scored it right over the goalie, and I was happy about that. I don't care it was really offsides, but that is what we're looking for. If he can stay onside and create that opportunity, some of the passes, I believe, from Busquets early on were
incisive.
really, definitely something I was happy about. But, like you're saying, we got to be patient because we gave Koeman a year plus, right?
And there was a point where we loved Koeman.
For
I
sure.
mean, not loved him, but really liked him, right? When we were making all those Copa del Rey comebacks with Griezmann, and when we were, fighting in that second leg against PSG, we were really happy. And that's because we gave Koeman some time, and we need to give Xavi even more time because we don't want to see a repeat. One thing that's going to be really hard for our team is that we got rid of Messi and Griezmann. Right this season. It's almost crazy to imagine. And so we just don't have that many players, if you look at that roster, who have the ability and who have proven it, right? Not just youth, but who have actually proven it in top 5 European leagues, who can score more than just 15 goals a season, right? I think Depay might be the only one. Of course, Aguero's up there, but he's been injured.
Sure.
Brathwaite, Dembele, Fati, again, that would be a reach, I think, for them to score that many. And so there's just not that many players on our team who are equipped and experienced enough to score that many goals, which is not a great pairing for a defense that has been pretty lackluster for like 2 seasons. And so, it's just, that's my question is like how, I understand what you're saying. We need to get more passes and get more high expected goal opportunities where it's not these, far shots from outside the box. But how do you think we're going to create that? And which of our players do you expect to put in these goals that we need?
Okay. I mean, that's a very loaded question, right? We couldn't even barely predict the lineup coming into this game, so it's going to be hard. But at the same time, you have to realize, like, we are still working on that skeleton crew. But I think the way to create it is we need to make passes that coordinate the other team's defense. I think that's important because if we're just making passes to players who are already covered, it's really hard for those players to create that space, find the open players. We need to play sometimes a different line, a higher line maybe sometimes. It's hard. There's not too much we can say. We haven't seen too much of a difference yet. This is his first game coming in La Liga, and he has a game coming up in Benfica. And then on top of that, who do we expect to make those?
It's got to be Depay, right? Depay,
right now.
Depay scored today off of a pretty wishy-washy penalty, and I was very happy he put it away. If you remember his last game, I think he missed the penalty against Rayo, which is what got Koeman sacked. And so, Depay's back on the score sheet. Yep. Xavi kind of alluded to this, but he thinks Frenkie de Jong should be scoring more goals, and it definitely seemed in this game, compared to the rest of the season,
looking for it,
that Frenkie de Jong was closer to scoring a goal. And then, I think we just need to withstand the injuries and just wait until everyone's healthy because Dembele has an option to score, has the ability to score some goals, and then Fati, of course, also will get us there. But that's what makes it tough is we have Benfica coming up midweek for a spot in the group stage of the Champions League, right? And so this is kind of the make it or break it game for us. If we beat Benfica, our road to the making it past the group stages to the knockout stages is way higher of a percentage. And so based off of this game, do you want to see different? Do you want to see any players subbed out? Like, how do you want to see the team adjust heading into Benfica?
I think that we need to create more passes as the wingers kind of cut into the box to find some open space, but I also need the midfield to disperse their defense. I feel like sometimes our midfield is not moving enough to force the defense to feel kind of erratic. I think they just kind of stand still, and we've talked about this before. Sometimes our players can just stand there. Defense is easy to cover when our players don't do anything. We need to...
Well, what was good is, right, that we saw in this game, that was a clear change of pace, especially in the first half, is we saw quicker passes.
True.
And quicker passes are the way to make sure the defense doesn't get set up and to make sure that you have a chance to score. I think it's really tough because Nico's gone now, right? So Gavi has to move back to the midfield, and then you wonder who's going to start up front. I think Abde showed that he has maybe more of a immediate impact than Ilias has, and so I'd expect to see him start. Coutinho really, really just looked lackluster today. I mean, the Coutinho experiment just continues to really befuddle me because of how little effort he puts in. There were just so many opportunities where Coutinho was on the counter and just was not able to to like even run. He's just jogging all over the place. And that's so frustrating because Coutinho is one of those players who can score goals, who has the option to add that firepower we need up front. So, I think we're going to really need to see Frenkie de Jong and Memphis Depay, right? The two Dutch players on the team. We're going to really need to see them kind of, pick it up and show the team that, hey, we can carry us through these injury issues and we can carry us through this period where Xavi's the new manager and try and get us back to the golden space, right? And so I think with that, we will see you guys on Wednesday for the Champions League, or Tuesday for the Champions League. Please let us know in the comments what you thought about the game, what you're looking forward to, and who is going to be the player that emerges from this early Xavi managerial season and really sticks up and shows that we're Barca and we're the best team in the world.
Sure.
So let us know in the comments. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.